The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff or management of Worldwide Digital Broadcasting Corporation.
Whether she's walking the red carpet or doing interviews, you'll find her with celebrities and all the latest news. She's here, she's there, she's everywhere, she's always on the go. So sit back, relax, and get ready. This is the Corey Taylor Talks Show.
Hello everybody, and welcome to Corey Taylor Talks, live from Las Vegas, the #1 teen talk show. I am really excited about my guest today because we are talking all about The Evil Dead, which I love, and I've had many cast members and many people on from the past, but now we have the new cast and version and everything, and some really exciting stuff going on for it. So first of all, why don't we go down the line and everyone say their names and their role at the show, and yeah, so let's do it.
Thank you. My name's Brian McGee, and I play Ash in the show.
My name is Randolyn, and I play Cheryl, Ash's little sister, in the show.
My name's Jake. I actually play Jake primarily, but I'm also the swing for Mr. Ash Williams.
Awesome.
My name is Sean Morris Slaughter. I am the voice of Professor Nobi. I am Fake Shimp, and I am also Ed, and I play a character named Doris Dead Zombie Diva, the MC of Evil Dead the Musical.
Oh my goodness, you play a lot of roles.
Multi-talented man.
Oh, very.
Yeah, that's awesome. But first of all, let's talk about The Evil Dead a little bit. Like I said before, I've had them on my show a lot and all this, but for newer listeners and stuff, why don't you talk a little bit about it, because it has a huge cult following, and not only the movies, but also the TV series and stuff, and now the musical, which is
true.
So cool, and it's a great musical. I've seen it like 5 times now, literally.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, oh my goodness, of course. So, so why don't you give a little background on The Evil Dead, whoever wants to take this question.
The ultra basic of it is that originally back in 1982, I believe, Evil Dead, the first Evil Dead movie came out. It was by Sam Raimi and had Bruce Campbell starring, and it was billed to be, it was like they were college kids putting together their first horror film, and it was awful. But it was hilariously awful. It was so bad it got a cult following, and eventually a couple of years later they said, you know, why don't we do this old Evil Dead thing and make a second one? So they made a second one, but this time, because they knew it was bad, they made it sort of slapstick parody, so it was a very self-aware comedy while still pretending to be a horror film, which was a really great balance. And that got a huge cult following. And then because it had a big following, they made a third movie called Army of Darkness. And that one was just like straight comedy, still pretending to be a horror film. And it was huge and awesome and had lots of followings and stuff. And, you know, people have been clamoring for more Evil Dead and been bugging Bruce Campbell for years and years and years. But when there wasn't more Evil Dead happening, people took it upon themselves to make more Evil Dead stuff. And so they wrote a musical called Evil Dead the Musical, and it premiered up in Canada, and it was all the same. It was basically Act 1 is Evil Dead 1, and Act 2 is Evil Dead 2. And it's all the funniest self-aware slapstick parody moments while pretending to be a horror film. It just makes the whole thing a whole lot of fun. They added a splatter zone, so you get splashed with blood in the audience. They added a whole lot of like whenever a character dies in a sort of stupid and ridiculous fashion in the movie, we make fun of that, and there's a whole song based on that character dying in a really dumb way. And then when the two characters get really confused about what's going on, there's a whole song called "What the Fuck Was That?" It's very, very self-aware comedy billed as a horror, so you get both horror and comedy, and that's what we've got here in Vegas, and it's been going on now for 5 years. 5 years. It showed up almost 6. It showed up in Vegas at the Onyx. It's a cool little local theater at the Onyx in October 2011. They went there again January 2012, and then jumped to the Planet Hollywood and the Tommy Wynn Theater, and it's been through a number of places, and now it's finally at the Bally's.
Awesome. And the Bally's is a great venue too. That's going to be really cool. And it hasn't started there yet though, correct? It's opening
No, it's
very
opening
soon?
this Thursday.
Oh my goodness,
Yes.
that's awesome.
Oh yeah,
Thursday the 14th.
Yes!
We're in final rehearsals right now.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm sure you guys are just like super excited and going over it constantly and stuff.
Just buzzing with energy. We cannot wait for opening night.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's going to be awesome. And where can people get tickets and everything for it?
I know Ticketmaster. We're live on Ticketmaster.
Oh,
so
yes,
you can
we
find
are.
them
Very
there.
cool.
If you check our Facebook, Evil Dead the Musical Las Vegas, they'll have links to the tickets there, all the information you would need. We're big on the social media, and we're doing a lot of promotion that way too, so
Also,
find
if
us there.
Also, if you're local, we do offer a 2-for-1 as well.
That's very cool.
Yeah, and I always kind of like thought of like for people that may not know the Evil Dead kind of like the Rocky Horror Picture Show in a type of way, and like
Similar, yeah.
how it has such a huge following and stuff, and how it is self-aware, and like I really think it's awesome. It has a whole balance, and it's all different types of genres, and it's really cool, and you got the musical aspect too, which is awesome.
Absolutely agree. The whole the Rocky Horror Picture Show fun is that you're not going there just to watch a show. You're going there to party with the cast members,
right?
Which is sort of, and that's one of the things actually that I forgot to mention that makes one of our musical different than other productions of Evil Dead the musical around the country, and that we are specifically the only one that like engages intentionally the audience as often as possible. So we like to call it audience participation. We call it Evil Dead musical 4D, which makes it different because there is no fourth wall, really.
No such thing as a fourth wall.
Yell things at us, we'll respond to you, and there's blood in the audience and all sorts of stuff.
And of course, the more the audience interacts, the more fun the show is. Sometimes even we don't know what's going to happen.
Oh, I'm sure. I've been there a couple times there. The audience, like, they get really involved with it and stuff. But it's cool that you guys handle it, and that shows how talented you guys are, because that can be a scary thing, or you might not know what's going to happen. You probably don't know what's going to happen, like you said. But so for you to engage in it and everything, that's really a cool thing, and
that's fair.
To be able to accept it.
We know what our lines are, but if somebody else yells something from the audience, we just have to be in character enough to be able to respond in character at random, which makes it just that much funnier when sort of a back and forth dialogue happens with the audience for a hot second. Quiet, you!
That's awesome. But yeah, so why don't we talk a little bit about what's going on behind the scenes and everything? Do you guys have, like, I know it hasn't officially started, but it has been around forever, and some of you guys are from the old cast, correct, as well? Mm-hmm. So why don't you talk a little bit about maybe each one of you, your favorite behind-the-scenes story that has happened?
Well, if you want to talk about behind-the-scenes stories, that guy has been the only one left of the entire cast and crew that's been from the original production back to the Onyx.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I started 6 years ago at the Onyx.
Oh, my gosh.
I've been with the cast the whole run. So I have a lot of dirt.
Oh my. Let's get the exclusives. Come on.
Best I can say is I was a fan back at the Onyx. He's been there.
Yeah, so do you have any...
Oh my gosh, there's so much, man. Right off the top of my head, it doesn't really have to do with backstage, but what happened out in the house one night at the V Theater at Planet Hollywood. We had a very intoxicated member of our splatter zone. Super intoxicated, and it's very common to have intoxicated people at Evil Dead, but this one was way beyond that. And at intermission, he stood up and he collapsed and hit his head on the chair in front of him. He stood back up and began to projectile vomit all over the floor.
Oh my gosh.
And then he passed out. And we had to hold intermission while we had to wait for the EMTs to come and cart him away.
Oh. Well, that's a good story.
That's a
solid story.
It rings a bit like Exorcist.
Wrong show.
It's still horror.
All right, what about you?
That's tough for me. I'm still relatively new. I only just joined the cast officially right at the beginning of May. So I've got kind of like the last couple of performances at Tommy Wynn Theater. Can I take a pass and try and
Yeah. No problem.
Great, thank you.
It's same. I've been I was only cast at the very end of May. But I have seen, because I used to study the show by sitting in and watching it every night, and I've seen quite a few shenanigans take place, and honestly, my favorite thing that ever happens is when the audience just gets one over on the cast, and the cast momentarily just breaks. Like, even for a split second, if they start laughing, that's a golden moment for me, because even they didn't see it coming, and there is no fourth wall to begin with, so it's nice to see that human side of them as well, and also see how they recover.
Awesome.
Like, I think it was when it was another actor who plays Ash named Luke, and he was doing his little boomstick speech, and he's 12 gauge double barrel Remington. Find this in the sporting goods department, and someone just, how much is it? Retails for $109.95.
Wait for a second. Wait.
That has that Rocky roar, like Rocky roar kind of tongue-in-cheekness, where some people say know the show and they know what's coming. They'll just throw it right in there and
exactly.
I love that.
Keep you on your toes,
Absolutely.
without a doubt.
And Brian?
Well, I'm sort of an anomaly in that I joined the cast this time with Jake right around the same time, beginning of May. But I was in the cast back in like September 2012 until about, again, September 2013. So I was there for a year before. I understudied to the first guy who played Ash. And then life got in the way and I had to go away. But they're holding auditions again. I came back, and so here I am again. But one of the things I love doing the most is tailoring the show to whatever's currently happening. It's like we'll change random lines to small lines in small ways to like if like for May the 4th. May the 4th, that's the one. Thank you. Yes. For May the 4th, which we all know is May the 4th be with you, which I call Jedi with a Lisp Day. We screwed with the show just a little bit so that, you know, toward the end of the show, when Ash is describing things, he, instead of pulling out like the chainsaw, he pulls out a lightsaber.
There you go.
And then there's a one more Deadite at the end of the show, and instead of attacking with it, they attacked with another lightsaber. And there was a quick little lightsaber fight for a second.
She had a full Darth Vader helmet on.
Yeah, she had a full Darth Vader. In fact, in the past, we've actually had like a full costumed Darth Vader come out and be the lead in the one of the main songs at the end called the Necronomicon.
Oh wow!
So you have like Deadites coming out, and then Darth Vader shows up. Or we've had jumping up a Deadite Elvis or a Deadite Michael Jackson. So, and I love that that freedom of being able to like play with it and just like referencing like one of the lines in one of the songs is "I'm not dying today, it's a holiday," but I'll change it to say "I'm not dying today, it's Valentine's Day" or
Legalization Day.
It's legal today.
There you go. No, actually, I remember it because I was part of the Awesome 80s prom when it was. Yeah, so and a lot of them, that's right. And a lot of people from the Awesome 80s prom went to the Evil Dead like right after. So I remember, and you were there. So that's really cool that you came back for this, and it's
way too much fun to ever walk away forever.
Oh yeah, I'm sure of it. No, it's such a great feeling, and it's very welcoming too and stuff, and that's what I really like. And like the whole audience, because most of them are super fans or at least know a lot about the show, they all can get along. It's really kind of a cool thing. It's a very different feeling that you don't get a lot with many shows, and I think that's what it really stands it out a lot from the rest. So that's really a cool thing.
Something else that's really cool about the show is that, I mean, the way we talk about it, it's like such a hardcore Evil Dead thing, and Evil Dead fans will love it. But the show is written in such an easy to understand way that if you've never even heard of Evil Dead, don't know who Bruce Campbell is, never even seen a horror film, you can still go to this and follow the whole plot and know exactly what's going on and follow all the most of the jokes and know exactly what's going on the whole time. There's little tiny little squeaked in moments for people who have seen Evil Dead series. There's one of the characters from Evil Dead 2 that's not in the musical because functionally somebody gets attacked by trees in the first movie and somebody gets attacked by trees in the second movie, so they included the first character, not the second one, and we make mention of that. They go, oh well, somebody figured this character to be useless and redundant, and then move on, and we don't mention it again. And so it's like everyone who watches the movie goes, ha!
Yeah, again, like one or two people are like, got that, okay, and then everyone else is kind of
But besides those specific moments, like the whole show is completely open for everyone to understand, even if you've never even heard of it before.
Super accessible.
And even in context, you can figure it out even if you don't get the initial joke. It's pretty self-explanatory as well.
Oh yeah, well I was gonna say I have never seen Evil Dead, the movies, the shows, nothing. The only thing I've seen is the musical, but it's a great musical and I love it. And I don't know anything about it except for what I've learned on the show from the past. But it's really great and anyone can enjoy it, absolutely. And I can attest to that because, like I said, I've never seen anything about it. But I promised last time I would see it, I never did, so I do apologize. But it's great and I do love the musical and that's all that really matters. So. But it's fun. And I think we're going to take a quick commercial break. But when we come back, we'll be talking more to the Evil Dead cast, so stick around.
Crazy Terry here with your car care tip of the day. So it's not a bad idea every now and then to check your battery. If you don't know how to do it, have somebody check it for you. Just a visual inspection can tell you a lot about your battery. So as we can see here, this battery's got a hold down. It's nice and tight. The cables are on. They don't look bad. We've got a cover. We don't see any corrosion. Everything's kind of tight, looking good. A little bit of dirt, that's normal, but nothing's leaking. No real cause for alarm here. So that's a good sign. Doesn't mean it's good, but at least visually we know that it's intact. Okay, so we're looking at a battery here that shows signs of corrosion. We want to test that battery to make sure it's good. Usually when they're getting like this, there's going to be a problem, leaking some acid at the top. We ran the test and we find out it has 396 cold cranking amps, but the battery requires 650. So it's just not enough. The battery is going to go soon. Better to know now than later. Okay, so the benefits of checking the cable is because this cable's rotted out. What we'll find is this is the problem, not the battery. So it'll save you from buying a battery, still having the no start, only to find out that it's a cable. This type of corrosion is common in diesels. Okay, so we're getting ready to jump the car, but we have to have some battery cables. And we have to check those too before we hook them up to the battery. So here we have our standard set of battery cables. We just look them over, see if the ends are frayed, if everything's connected all right. Everything looks good here. Wouldn't hurt to check the rest of the cable just to make sure the dog didn't get it and chew it up. We have red and black. Red's positive, black's negative. You always want to hook the positive up first and then the negative. And I'll show you how that's done right now. Keep these off to the side so they're not touching each other. Hook up your positive. You can find that right here by the plus sign, the negative sign. Plus is positive, red. Make sure that's securely hooked up. Keeping these away from each other. Hook up your negative cable. Just got to fight it on there. Figure out a way to get it. Wiggle it a little bit so it ensures a good connection. Now you're transferring voltage. If I hit these two together, we're going to spark. Kind of want to avoid that. Won't kill you. Kind of fun. A lot of people think if they can turn the headlights on, the battery's fine. That's not always the case. It takes very little amperage to turn a light on, but it takes a lot of amperage to start the starter. I recommend checking the charging system every oil change. At Sun Valley Automotive, there's never a charge for that. This is Crazy Terry with your car care tip of the day.
Hello, hello, everybody, and welcome back to Corey Taylor Talks live from Las Vegas, the #1 teen talk show. Once again, we are here with the cast of The Evil Dead, the musical. Okay, so let's talk about Bally's now. So you did the big move to Bally's,
Yes.
which is going to be great. So what's going to be different about it? What can people expect from this now that it's at this theater?
Fundamentally, it's basically it's a different shaped stage. We have a new director, so the blocking is different. The stage is narrower and wider. Everything is flipped left and right. The new director is changing how the lines are delivered, so the whole thing is very, very different that way. You guys want to say more about it? I've been talking a lot.
I gotta admit, I think my favorite of all the changes we've made for our transition to Bally's is the badass choreography that we have now.
True.
Awesome.
The new director, Joe Hines, and the director, Teresa Isgriggs, have done a really great job refreshing, re-enlivening, bringing to it. It's always been satirical and funny. People come to see like the dick jokes and the whatever stuff. It's always had that. But what they've added this time, measure of the intensity and the horror that it sort of deserves to have, as well as the romantic moments. There's like heartbreaking moments, and there's like scary moments where they're like chasing each other around the stage, and not in like a Benny Hill kind of way, but in a really sort of what's going to happen kind of way. It's really sort of intense now.
Yeah.
Ah.
Deadites actually, they feel like they're threatening at times. And at playing a Deadite at times, it's like, oh wow, I actually feel kind of scary, kind of cool right now. Whereas before it was played more for laughs. It's like, the dancing zombies, that's cute.
It's a parody you can take seriously, basically.
Yeah. There's a lot more, he cares for the characters. He like really looks down deep at the core, and he's like, why are you guys doing what you're doing? Yes, this is a campy musical, but he didn't forget like the heart and the brain to it.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So a lot of that has been kind of breathed back in, where it's not like a straight serious horror thing, but
No,
There's still
the
plenty of
elements.
dick jokes.
Yeah, there's still the dick jokes. Those don't go anywhere.
And you've been here from the beginning, so I'm
I've
sure
seen
you
so
see.
many
Yeah.
squeaks and revisions of the show, and there's some very fine things going on with our reboot now. I'm very excited, and I'm very seriously extremely excited. Just listening to the vocals and the singing of the cast is just top notch. We have some of the best vocalists on the Las Vegas Strip.
That's awesome.
And it's very, very, very exciting to see this coming to the stage. And yeah, it's just like another change, another switch over, and it's always very exciting to see these changes happen.
Yeah, and for like Bally's to believe in you guys and stuff, that's really cool. And
yeah, we're coming right after Wayne Newton.
Oh, really?
Wayne Newton, us.
No, it's a big difference, but and it's not a common show, but that's how much they believe in you, because it's a great show, and that's really
and it takes a special something to I mean, without even tooting our own horns, it takes a special something for any show to exist in Las Vegas on the Strip for 5 years.
Yeah,
that's a thing.
No, it's true. It's really sad, but it is. It's so hard to make it, and in Vegas, it's a show's here one day, gone the next, and for 5 years, I can't believe it's been 5 years. That's crazy.
How many shows closed on the Strip like last year? I mean, absurd number of shows closed down last year, and we're just like watching them all going. We're still here.
Well, even Jubilee from the Ballet.
Jubilee had
that's the only like showgirl movie, the only showgirl show, and that was gone. It's crazy.
I figured just because Vegas is Vegas, that should be here forever.
Right.
So even that one closed.
Yeah,
it's like there's one line in one of the songs toward the end, "We will never die." I was like, well, that sort of describes the show. We will never die.
We haven't died yet.
That's why we're also grateful for this opportunity from Bally's. It's like, it'd be a shame for the legacy of the show so far and to just watch it drop off like so many other shows. So it's
and of
we're
course,
still going.
Of course, the reason why it is still alive, because all the incredible people who have come and been involved, and we've got an incredible stage manager, Rebecca Sass, without whom none of this would be possible. We wouldn't even be at Bally's right now, and of course Joe Hines and Teresa, and they're just. And of course, all of the cast, each one of the cast, I'm honored every day to be working with such a diversely talented group of people.
This is very true.
And but each one of us just an equal part to the whole project and the puzzle, and so.
But and even beyond that, even almost more important than any of the directors or the cast is the fans who love the show.
Absolutely.
Because it doesn't matter how good we are, if nobody shows up, the show closes.
Yeah.
Right.
Without them, there is no us.
So the fact that I have run into numerous people who have seen the show 30 times, 47 times, 87 times.
Wow.
And they counted 87 times they've seen the show.
Oh my gosh.
I looked, I was like, wow.
That's
that's not as uncommon as you'd think, because people love I mean, heck man, I first saw the show at the Onyx because I heard that it was happening. I was like, Evil Dead the what? A musical? So I went and saw it, and I fell in love with it instantly. I saw the show 3 times at the Onyx and just sort of basically stalked them until they let me be an intern, and then finally worked my way into being an ash swing, and then was doing it, and then had to go away and came back. But no, I fell in love with the whole show too, and I feel like there's a lot of people that do that. And if without those people who come back from Australia and from Canada and from locals and from New York and Chicago, like literally everywhere, they come just because this show is that flipping cool.
Wow. We had a couple come in from Canada on Halloween.
We do.
Australia. We had a couple fly in from Australia on Halloween to get married on our stage, and I performed the wedding. I can perform weddings. I performed 2 weddings at Evil Dead.
This is true. We have in the past done weddings during the intermission of Evil Dead. You can get married by a Deadite.
Yeah.
Blood splatter and all.
And then I believe
that
we pour blood on the bride.
Marketing.
Yes, absolutely.
I think that should be the big marketing scheme. Get married.
I'm not sure if we're doing that at the Bally's. We haven't really talked about that. We used to have it happened at the Planet Hollywood. We didn't really do that at the Tommy Wind, but that might be something to bring back.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. I think a lot of people would do
that.
Get
married and get covered with blood during the ceremony.
It's better than a drive-through chapel.
Oh God, yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Everyone wants a weird, unique, quirky wedding. So
if
there you go.
people get married by Elvis, they should want to get married by a Deadite. Like that's.
I agree.
Doris, that's your calling.
That is.
Yes. So you're a minister, then that's perfect.
Yes.
It's great.
Yes.
Awesome. And so really, really cool stuff. And also, I do want to bring up, I heard Arlene is going to be in it from...
Yes.
I love Arlene. She's great. So I had to ask about her.
The cool thing about that is the Tommy Wind Theater, and all the people related, Big Tom and Arlene and Tommy Wind himself, like, they're awesome. They're really, really cool people. Yeah. Like, they're not like, I'm a celebrity, don't talk to me. No, they're really cool. They're like, hey, how's it going? Pat back, like good conversation. They're great.
Yeah.
And it's really a shame that their theater closed.
Yeah.
So what's cool is that they're like, no, man, we love you guys. Can we be a part of your show now, too, wherever it goes? I mean, they're still the producers of Evil Dead. But wherever it goes, they're like, Arlene's like, can I be part of it too? I want to be a Deadite. We're like, sure.
Is that even a question? Of course you can.
Yeah. And I believe her Deadite character is going to be Vanna Fright.
Vanna Fright, yes.
And she's going to be the sister of my Doris Dead character.
Oh,
and
there
we're
you
working
go.
out a cat fight between us. We're going to be out in front of house before the show, which is what I've done for years. I'll go out in front of house as Doris Dead, get the audience warmed up, tell really bad jokes and stuff like that, get them ready to come in.
That'd be great.
So I'm going to have another Deadite out there with me again, and we're going to tear it up.
And he's hilarious at that. Back at the
my
Hollywood,
goodness.
I was out there revving up the audience for a little bit when the Lions were out there, and I'd be out there watching him. He's hilarious and gross.
Yes, slightly disturbing, as a matter of fact.
It's like squirt water at people from like a sagging boob.
Yep.
So dirty underwear. It's like, oh god.
The bulging eyeball from your
Bulging
dead.
eyeball,
Yes,
So if you don't know
that
what we're
is
talking about, come and see it so you can see what that is.
That's it.
Yeah, this is her up here.
And again, Bally's window
perfect.
showroom.
On the shirt, yep.
Awesome. Good for you. That's awesome. Wear yourself with pride.
And just to mention it occasionally within the thing, again, the Bally's Windows showroom, 10 p.m. show, tickets on Ticketmaster, 2-for-1 local deals, Thursday through
cool.
Monday. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
Yeah, we're extending our show times. We have a few more days, a few more nights where we're going up.
Awesome. And are you gonna? I know in the Tommy Wind, you had like just special drinks and stuff. Do you have special drinks at the Bally's?
We haven't made any drink deals with the
Okay.
Bally's. I would like to. Arlene has got some really great drinks. that
Yeah.
she does.
Oh my
She
goodness,
does.
yes.
We really want those to carry over. It hasn't been like definitively decided upon yet, but fingers crossed.
Yeah, because that was really cool. So hopefully that would work out
Yeah.
The
'cause-
boomstick was really good.
Oh, the
Yes, it
boomstick
was.
and the what the fuck is that shot were my two favorites. It literally,
Mine too.
you take the shot and it's, what the fuck was that?
And when I took the boomstick shot, I was like, this is my boomstick.
This is my boomstick.
Perfect. Okay, so once again, why don't we go over everything? Where can people follow the show, follow you guys personally, and all that information, and get all updates and where they could buy the tickets, everything. So why don't we go one by one individually?
What are the Facebook locations?
Facebook locations.
I know there's two of them. There's
Evil
Evil Dead
Dead
Vegas.
the musical
Evil
Las
Dead, the
Vegas.
musical Las Vegas, and
No, that's the main active
that's the
one, right?
that's the
Yeah,
main
that's
one.
the-
that
Those are weird
that's the
group
one
of
I
two things.
pay attention to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just look for the little ash cartoon with the white background. That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And then
Individual, where can people follow you individually and
Boy.
individually, like us.
stuff? Yeah, you guys.
Well,
I've got my own Facebook page, Brian McGee fan
Perfect.
page.
right, as do I. My name's Randallin Illusions on Facebook, and
Yeah, my social media game is really weak.
mine too. I will admit that
A lot
I'm
of us are
terrible
too
about.
busy like doing the acting thing. You're like,
Yeah,
oh, Facebook?
yeah.
Oh, I haven't done that in a week.
Oh, gotta make time for Facebook.
We've been a little occupied with,
A little bit.
To say the
revamping
least.
the show and everything. But yeah.
But if you want to see what we've been doing, come and watch.
I've got all the formats, we just don't use them.
Exactly.
You can find my character Doris Dead on Facebook at Doris Dead Zombie Diva.
Oh,
She has her own fan page. Yes.
that's great.
Can you write that down?
Doris Dead Zombie Diva.
I said, go. Doris Dead Zombie. Got it.
And is there anyone you want to give a shout out to that's involved with the project as well, or all the cast members or anything?
Well,
that you
Oh,
guys...
definitely.
Well, there's a lot of things. I'll let you guys say something. But the thing I wanted to say first is that there's like three Ashes. When you come and see the show, there's 3 people playing Ash that are doing it pretty regularly. I've got about 3 nights a week. Jake's got 1 night a week, and Luke has 1 or 2 nights a week. Luke was the lead Ash a number of months ago before summer started. So there's 3. So if you want to come on different days, you can see
You can
different
tell
Ashes,
them.
which functionally ends up looking like a different show.
It is.
Because everyone has a
Absolutely.
different take on it.
Oh,
I do enjoy the liberties that each of us have with our characters. Like, you know, I'm not the only person who plays Cheryl. I'm generally about three nights a week at this point.
We have like a dozen cast members and everything. We have most of the girls in the show actually play 2 or 3 different parts and rotate like frequently.
Yeah.
So you may come one night and see a show, and come the next night, and everyone's rotated in characters in a totally different show.
For me as an actor, doing this show and watching so many people play these different roles, it's just incredible to see how people have different interpretations
Yes.
and different spins and adaptations of the roles, and it's just fascinating, and that's a very rare experience I've had as an actor in this show.
Yeah. No, I think that's a cool thing, and it is. It's almost like seeing a different show the entire, because everyone handles certain parts differently, and everyone plays a different. It's very up to your interpretation, so that's really cool, and it is. So that it keeps everyone on the toes.
It really
yeah.
does,
For
yes.
audience and us as cast, like you don't really know what show you're getting into until you
Exactly.
start, and start diving with everybody, and yeah.
And of course, each night having a different audience, you don't know what the audience is going to bring to the table. So every night literally is a slightly different show.
And this is why I think we have so many return cast members, or return audience, return fans, because they come and they're like, I saw it one way, and now it's totally different. Now it's a different theater, different ash, different stage, different. It's cool stuff. Any other shout outs we want to do? I mean, there's Joe Hines, which is amazing. Yes. Rebecca Sass is our stage manager. She has single-handedly kept the show alive for the last year, 2 months.
Like, in particular, when it's been like really crazy, but I mean, since I think October, she jumped aboard and she's really like strong-armed and made sure this show stays alive.
She's definitely the backbone of the whole thing.
She really is. It wouldn't right now. It wouldn't exist without her.
Exactly.
She's the one that got it to the valleys. In fact, actually, something worth mentioning is something we're doing a week after this Friday.
That is correct.
We are. Bruce Campbell himself is coming into town to do his book signing, and he's upgraded because it's Vegas, baby. He's upgrading it to his what does he call it? Last Fan Standing. Last Fan Standing. It's a game show he does. And he is actually going to have us, the cast of Evil Dead the Musical, come and perform at his event. So we're going to perform 2 numbers from our musical. One is The Cabin in the Woods, the first song in our musical, where we're all happy-go-lucky college kids going to our cabin in the woods, talking about how great this is going to be, except we're all going to die. And the second one is the Necronomicon, which is where all the Deadites come to life, and you have this huge dance on stage. And so
after we have died.
So come and see Bruce Campbell, and come and see us.
That'll be the 29th, I believe. I think
yes,
29th.
Friday the 29th.
The Vinyl at the Hard Rock, so it's gonna be it's a cool venue if you haven't been before, but it's
so we are.
Venue. Bruce is there.
Bruce Campbell approved.
Yeah.
No, and I have to say he has been really supportive of your guys' show, in particular the Las Vegas version. That's an awesome thing and a big thing. He was the star of the original one. That's a huge ordeal.
Yeah.
So absolutely,
it is.
I try every day to do more Ash-like things in his honor.
Yeah, right.
And also local things that you have for locals, like local specials or anything.
2-for-1 ticket prices.
Awesome.
And I believe there's
That's
a
really cool.
15% off offer right now too. Both of those are on the Facebook as well. And if anyone wants to get in touch with us, you can find us on Facebook. We're happy to share those with you.
We have our own website too. What's the website?
I'm pretty sure it's EvilDeadVegas.com.
I think
if you look up Evil Dead the Musical Las Vegas, it'll be one of the top.
It'll be on the
Evil
links.
Dead Las Vegas. We'll be everywhere.
Yeah.
We'll explode your computer.
It's us, I promise.
Well, thank you guys so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
It was really great.
A lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a blast. And everyone, please go follow them. And the 29th is with Bruce Campbell, correct?
Yes,
okay.
Friday the 29th, a week from this Friday.
Awesome. And this Thursday is the opening.
This Thursday is the opening of the show. Come and see it. Be great.
Yes, that's awesome. Everyone,
Join
please go
us.
support. Even if you've seen it a million times, it's going to be completely different and a whole different cast and everything, so it'll be awesome. So please go support it and check it out and follow all of them. And yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching, and once again, please go support everything, and remember, never give up, always believe, and you'll achieve. Thank you, and God bless.
Groovy.
You beat me to it.